How did each state get its name? Starting with Alabama, its origins lie in the Choctaw Native American word Alba-Amo, which means thicket clearers or vegetation gatherers. Moving on to Alaska, the name is derived from an Aleut word Alyeska, meaning Great Land or mainland. Next, Arizona's name is believed to come from the Spanish word Arizonac, which means good oak or place of the small spring. The name Arkansas originated from the French interpretation of a Native American tribe's name, likely the Quapaw, which is pronounced as Arkansas. California's name is believed to have originated from a fictional paradise mentioned in a Spanish novel called Las Surges de Esplandian, which was written by Garcia Ordonez de Montalvo. Next, we have Colorado. The name is the Spanish word for red-colored, which refers to the appearance of the sediment-filled Colorado River. Connecticut comes from the Algonquian word Quintucket, which means beside the long tidal river or place of a long river. Washington, District of Columbia, or Washington, D.C., although not a state, is very important to the U.S., serving as the capital. Columbia is a poetic name for Christopher Columbus, who is credited with the European discovery of the Americas. The district was named as such to honor Columbus and to avoid favoring any specific state. Delaware is named after Thomas West, 3rd Baron de la Warr, who is an English nobleman and the first colonial governor of Virginia. Yet another Spanish name. Florida comes from the Spanish term Pascua Florida, which means Feast of Flowers. The name was given by Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon. Georgia, which is right above Florida, is named after King George II of Great Britain. The name Hawaii is believed to come from the Hawaiian word Hawaiki, which refers to the traditional homeland of the Polynesians. The name of Idaho is uncertain, but it was invented by George M. Willing, who was a lobbyist for a mining claim in the region. He said that Idaho was a Native American word that meant gem of the mountain, but that proved to be a fake story. Illinois comes from the Native American Algonquian tribe called Illiniwek, or Illini, which means superior men or men of men. Moving on to Indiana, the word simply means land of the Indians or Indian land. Iowa is named after the Iowa River, which was named after the Native American Iowa or Iowa people who lived in the land. Kansas is derived from the Native American Kansa or Ka tribe, which means people of the South Wind. Kentucky is believed to come from the Wyandot Huron word Kentaten, which means land of tomorrow or Meadowland. Louisiana is named after King Louis XIV of France. The word Maine is thought to come from the French province of Maine, or the Latin term Maine, meaning land of the mainland or province. Maryland was named after Queen Henrietta Maria, who was the wife of King Charles I of England. Massachusetts, another Algonquian word, means at or about the Great Hill. Michigan comes from the Ojibwe or Chippewa word Michigama, which means large water or Great Lake, which refers to Lake Michigan. Minnesota comes from the Dakota Sioux word Minnesota, which, referring to the Minnesota River, means cloudy water or sky-tinted water. Missouri comes from the Missouri tribe, which means town of large canoes. Mississippi is named after the Mississippi River, the most OP river in America. The word comes from the Ojibwe word Mississippi, which means great river or gathering of water. Montana is a Spanish word for mountain or mountainous region. Nebraska comes from the Oto Indian word Nebraska or Nebraska, which means flat water or shallow water. Nevada is a Spanish word that means snow-capped or snow-covered. New Hampshire is named after the county of Hampshire in southern England. Also named after a place in England, New Jersey was named after the Channel Island of Jersey in the English Channel. New Mexico is named after Mexico. The new prefix was added to distinguish the state from the country. New York was named after the Duke of York, who later became King James II. Before the renaming, it was a Dutch colony called New Amsterdam. North Carolina was named in honor of King Charles I of England. The name is derived from the Latin term Carolus, which means Charles. Dakota comes from the Dakota Sioux tribe, with the north prefix referring to the state being the northern part of the Dakota Territory. Ohio's name comes from the Iroquois word Ohio, which means great river or large creek, referring to the Ohio River. Oklahoma is derived from the Choctaw words Okla, meaning people, and Humma, meaning red. Thus, the phrase means red people or red man, which refers to the Native Americans who lived in the region. The origin of Oregon is uncertain. It might have been derived from the French word Oregon, which means hurricane or storm. Pennsylvania was named in honor of Admiral Sir William Penn, the father of William Penn, the founder of the Pennsylvania colony. Rhode Island, the small state in the Union, has its name's origins coming from the Greek island of Rhodes. The only difference is how South Carolina got its name from its northern counterpart is that it has South in the name. The same applies for South Dakota. Tennessee is derived from the Cherokee village called Tennessee, which was located near Knoxville. Texas is derived from the Caddo Native American word Taisha or Taisha, meaning friends or allies. Utah comes from the Ute tribe, meaning people of the mountain or people of high places. Vermont comes from the French words vert, meaning green, and mont, meaning mountain. The French gave the state its name because Vermont has lush green mountains. Virginia was named after Queen Elizabeth I, who is often referred to as the Virgin Queen. Washington, the state, was named in honor of the first U.S. President, George Washington. West Virginia was separated from Virginia during the Civil War. It was named to indicate its western location. Wisconsin is derived from the Algonquin word Misconsin, meaning this stream meanders through something red. This possibly refers to the Wisconsin River's red sandstone formations. And last but not least, Wyoming got its name thanks to the Delaware tribe's word Magwawama, which means large plains or at the Great Plains. And if you liked this video, please give this video a like. And if you are interested in more geography content similar to what you just saw, just press the subscribe button. It helps out a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.